Well, you guys have been asking for it, you've wanted to see more Malygos content, and so today we are playing Sycopense Malygos Druid. So, Malygos Druid, what's the objective of the deck? Well, the objective is simple. You need to get Malygos down on board and play loads of spells on your opponent's face and kill him. That's the objective. How do you do that? Well, you've got Aviana, you've got Kun, so you play Aviana, so your minions cost 1, you play Kun, so you refresh your mana crystals, you then play Malygos, use those spells and kill him. Alexstrasza is also in the mix, so you can get their health down to 15. So, you know, this is an interesting take on Malygos Druid. I like the inclusion of Alexstrasza. That's not something that you always see. So yes, the end objective is quite obvious. The difficult bit is getting there. And that's where I think the skill really does come in this deck. You have to survive until the point where you have those combo pieces, or enough of the combo pieces to kill your opponent. So, you know, obviously when you're mulliganing, you're looking for ramp, you're looking for cards like Wild Growth. Nourish is pretty good in sort of slow matches. You want to ramp those mana crystals as much as possible to the point where you can empty enough of your hand and play Ultimate Infestation and draw more cards. I mean, UI is pretty broken still. So, Poison Seeds for board control in terms of neutralizing big minions, and of course everyone's favourite card, Spreading Plague, which can just be a game winner against aggro decks. Sometimes they just really struggle to punch through Spreading Plague in time, and that can buy you enough time to draw cards like Swipe, for example. So anyway, and we're going to look at one example of a quick game. Well, it wasn't a quick game, it was actually quite a long game, hence why we're only watching the last 10 minutes of it. It's against a priest, and here's what was interesting about the game. This was one of the first games that I played with the deck, and therefore, well, I was a bit unsure at times of what to do. But this was Big Priest, and as you can see, I had used both Living Roots to eliminate some of his big minions. Basically, he'd played Ragnaros. He'd got Ragnaros, and yeah, it was not looking good for me. But yeah, I had used both Living Roots and a Moonfire because in my mind, I felt there was nothing else I could do. And, you know, you sort of look at cards in this game, in this context, cards like Spreading Plague, which are a bit useless because they don't do much against Rags. You know, and this guy, I think, has had the fortune so far in this game of having more than one copy of Ragnaros down. Spreading Plague doesn't do anything. Poison Seeds is in my hand, but you have to time it correctly. This is Big Priest. He's not going to go wide on the board in the early part of the game. He'll have 1 or 2 big minions down at a time that do horrendous amounts of damage. And you have to time the use of Poison Seeds. Because you've only got 2 copies of Poison Seeds, and Poison Seeds is your best defense against Big Priest, because now when you kill off those 2/2 tokens, hopefully when he plays his big resurrect spells, he gets the tokens back. That's the idea, anyway. So Poison Seeds is best used when Big Priest goes incredibly wide on the board with big minions, resurrects a whole bunch of them, then you Poison Seeds, and then you get the best value out of it, because when he plays the next set of resurrect spells, he gets the 2/2s back. That's the idea. Okay, well, that's the Asheraj and that's the Lich King. I have 1 more copy of Poison Seeds in the deck. And my inexperience with this deck is showing. And in this situation here, I could have traded in the 3/6 to get an extra taunt. And I'm using a swipe here on a 2/2, and here's why. I need a way to kill off those tokens, because I'm gonna at some point he's gonna play a big resurrect spell, a mass resurrect spell, and get Spellstone and get loads of minions back. I need to increase the chances that he gets back those 2/2s. That's the whole idea behind that. I'm so desperate at this point. Oh my god. So we've not seen a Spellstone played, and yet he is still going incredibly wide on this board. And again, it is now just a matter of survival. So here's the plan now. The plan now is essentially to try our best now to kill off his tokens. And hopefully, when he plays Spellstone, he gets all the trees back. And then we're in a good place. I'm also keeping a close eye on my hand. I've got Malygos, I have a Moonfire. Well, all I have left in the deck is a swipe. So a Moonfire and a swipe. Those are my two last sort of offensive spells that I can use on his face. I have Alexstrasza though, so we can put him down to 15. But I'm missing two parts of my combo. I'm missing Aviana and I'm missing Kun. So until we get them, well, we're a spot of bother. But there are five trees on board. So if we can just kill them off, how interesting! He's killed them off for me. He was fearing for his life total. How very, very interesting. So now you look at this and you think, well, quite a few of those trees have died. Surely Spellstone, even if he gets 4 minions back, what are the chances that there's all going to be trees? I feel safer behind the taunts here, even though it's Big Priest and maybe the poisonous minions being summoned would be better. I'm also scared of board clears and AoE, therefore I like my taunts. Now look at that. He plays the Spellstone. He only gets 1 tree back. I'm sure last turn there was a board full of treants, and yet he gets Lich King, Statue, and Yasharaj back.
I'm almost out of cards.
And I'm sure multiple Ragnaroses have died in this game. And there's not even a Rag on board. Now, that's just fascinating to me. Absolutely fascinating. Anyway. So, at this point, you sort of panic. And you're like, oh, what do I do here?
My thoughts are plagued.
Yes, my thoughts are clearly plagued. So, both poison seeds have been used. And, I'm actually now trying to... I was trying to calculate any kind of way to lethal at some future point in the game. But... you know what we're waiting for? We are waiting for Aviana. We are nearly out of cards and we have not drawn Aviana. This is quite unfortunate. But anyway... his board is incredibly threatening. Wow. The Lich King is giving him all the tools that he needs here. And he's even playing Shadow Word Pain on a lowly taunt there, so he can get max damage into my face. Oh my god. Resurrect gives him Ragnaros. Why didn't it give him a little tree? It gave him Rag. I mean, that's just... That's so bad for me. Such bad luck. And now it comes down to one turn. Oh look, there's Bonds. Oh look, and there she is. She was the last card in my deck. And we have no choice. We can't even count. We just have to do it because it's the only thing we can do here. But here, is where Alexstrasza really shows her worth. It is precise, lethal. Goodbye. Yes, I played that game horribly. Yes, I didn't know what I was doing. But it was masterful because Alexstrasza won us that game. Right, so in other versions of Malygos Druid that I've seen played, I have not seen much of Alexstrasza, but as you saw in that last game, Alexstrasza was a key component in taking down Big Priest. I think to play Malygos Druid, you have to be a good player, obviously, but you have to know what you are doing. That game, I'm sure I misplayed 100 times over. I'm sure I did. But, you know, I think this was my second game with the deck, and I really, at points, didn't know what I was doing. I'm sure some of my plays could have been more polished. But in the end, we were able to sort of amble our way to victory with Alexstrasza. Yeah, really, really useful. And we were able to get the win with just one Moonfire and one swipe. So again, there is flexibility in the deck. If Alexstrasza is part of your combo, you can use other parts of your spell, so Living Roots, you could use copies of Moonfire on clearing board, on surviving, being rest assured that when your opponent is at 15, one copy of Swipe and one copy of Moonfire will be enough to seal out the game. That is quite reassuring to know. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I had fun making this video, and it was an incredibly tense game against the Big Priest. Games against Big Priest are always very tense. But if you enjoyed it, please subscribe. I would be grateful, and I'll see you guys all again very soon for more Wild Mode fun.